Hello, everyone, and welcome to an episode of the Caffeinated Librarians, MPL's pop culture podcast. We're concluding our discussion of Mr. Magic today. By Kiersten White. So, what did you guys think?
Okay, so I think there were elements that were good, and I think the plot had so much potential. However, a lot was very predictable. But why did it end so cleanly? Like, that's what I wanted to know, because they're messy people. This is a cult.
I think
It's too
I
clean.
think it goes back to what Joe brought up last time. That she and you know, reading the acknowledgments, I have a tough time saying this because she talked about how personal this novel was for her, and I appreciate that and I understand that. But going back to what you said last week, how you wish she had a little bit more confidence in her writing. Have confidence to be messy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like have confidence for the not a perfect ending.
Yeah.
Like everything was leading up to it being messy.
Yeah.
And the mess was what I liked, and it wasn't. It was almost like she wanted to. It was like there was 3 different endings potentially happening, and then she was just like, "Nah, I gotta back away."
So
from
like
that.
everything I liked from the first half, I still liked in the back half. But no, I definitely agree. I think the ending was very clean, and like especially when like, you know, with the reveals of like, oh, Isaac and Jenny knew.
Yeah.
Like that, I feel like should have held a lot more of a weight on their relationships. Like Jenny, I am more forgiving of in general because she was stuck there. She was brainwashed. Like Isaac left, so I'm kind of like, come on, dude. Like I feel like you don't really get the you don't get the same pass.
Yeah. And also, there was never like so you find out that Gloria has been trying to reach Val.
And Val just kind of drops it.
Yeah, you never get that confrontation. There's never a confrontation with Isaac.
No, because she finds out that he knew, and she's just like, yeah, but like I like his eyes, they're pretty, so it's fine. Yeah, it's like, no.
Yeah.
How about no?
Lou, I was amused that you were onto something when you were like, I think Isaac's Mr. Magic.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I was like so happy. I was like, is it really gonna be him? And then she backed off of that. Like,
But no, I did like the idea that he was like being groomed to take over the position. Yeah, I thought the stuff about like how the bliss or like the organization of it all, I liked that a lot. Like how it's sort
I liked the cult.
The hum. I loved the description of just like they in the desert they just hear this hum of like another world, you know.
Yeah. And that's how they found it. Yeah, I do like that, and I like her other world building, and I like that the darkness is sentient. Mm-hmm. And that makes it more terrifying to me because it is all around you and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, the idea of like forcing the darkness to take shape.
Yeah.
I thought was very cool too.
So I was really disappointed that it ended so cleanly because it shouldn't have.
No.
Yeah. Because I liked how we got there. There are some things that I wish were developed more. Like, I still don't understand why after 2 days, like, I don't understand, like, Isaac and Val's relationship. I don't get it. There's not enough invested there.
Agreed, yeah.
Because she also doesn't, like, I understand it's, like, a vibe. She gets his vibes. But she doesn't have the memories to back it up either. Right. She sees some of it, but it's more like she's watching it and vaguely remembering, and she does remember some things, but I don't know. They were 8. Well, she was 8, he was 10.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I kind of agree with that too. And like the kiss at the end, and then she like pushes him through the door. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's just like so
it's the
cliche. Yeah.
It
predictability.
Was one of my favorite professors in college loved to call an ending like this very contrived.
Yeah.
I feel like the book didn't really need a romance with Val. I feel like she could have just, you know.
No,
And
let
I mean,
Javi
if-
and
and I
Marcus have
think-
their moment.
Yeah.
And I think, like as everyone is saying, that if there was supposed to be a romance element to it, then it should have been more developed, and it wasn't.
It was just kind of there.
Yeah.
What I will say is, the epilogue, the very beginning of it, when the narrator is just describing, like, they're at the house and the kids are all running around and they're all together watching. I was like, that's beautiful. That's like beautifully written. And then it starts going into like just the description of like, and again, like, because the acknowledgments, like she talks about how personal it is, I was like I kind of feel bad, but it's like we get it.
Yeah.
We understand the metaphors. It's again, it really alludes to what Joe brought up last week, that she's maybe because she's used to catering for a younger
she's
reader.
falling into that YA trap.
Yeah, she feels like she needs to explain everything. But yeah, I was just like just end it right there. Just end it right there with the description of and watching the show.
Yeah, because they know it's Val, and we don't need this like kicked puppy.
Yeah, I don't need and a tear drops from Isaac's eye, and he pats his daughter on the head, and everything will be okay. I'm like, all right, I get it.
Yeah.
But just like a cute flash, nothing more would have been fine, because their lives are gonna be messy for a while. But I don't know. I just thought it was too clean, too tied up into a pretty bow for me.
Yeah.
Could she have been trying to model the ending after a children's show? How, you deal with terrible topics, but in the end, everything is okay?
I like that idea.
Yeah.
What I thought about it after reading the acknowledgments was, she's mimicking her own life where everything was great afterward and everything turned out really great.
Yeah.
So I didn't read the acknowledgments.
I do recommend go back and look. It's nothing too mind melting.
Yeah.
She just talks about she starts it off with let me save you the Google search.
Yeah.
I was Mormon. I'm not anymore.
Okay.
That's what this book's about.
Yeah.
She got married as a teenager, had too many kids too young, but she wouldn't trade them or her husband for the world. And they did what was best for their children by leaving the faith. Which you can see echoed in the book.
Yeah.
Where Jenny does eventually leave and take all 6 of her kids. It did take me a second to be like, oh, okay, everyone's living with Gloria now? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think they are living there.
Yeah, I think it
because
was just
Gloria mentioned something like it was a good idea, like this memorial for Val.
Oh, that's right.
So because I was like, that's crazy if they all just lived with
in
Gloria.
that giant
I did think that at first too. I was like, why would Gloria let these people in her house?
Yeah, because that's exactly. But I love. It wasn't necessary, but I do love learning that Javi and Marcus had a very cute wedding ceremony and that everyone was there because. That is the romance I wanted.
Yeah, that was the nicest part of the second part of what we got into, like the part where they're at the gala and Marcus and Javi start dancing. I was like, that's beautiful.
It was, because it's so sad too when Javi's like, let's dance. Marcus gets mad and he's like, no, do not make fun of me.
Yeah.
You can't mean this. And he's like, I 1000% do.
Yeah.
Like completely serious, drops like the facade of who Javi's persona is.
At the same time, it does still have the aspect of a Javi wanting to piss people off.
Oh, God, yeah.
But, in a righteous way this time.
Yeah. In a way that he is genuine about.
Yeah.
But I think Javi and Marcus were my favorite, but Javi was my favorite character.
And you were proven right with Kitty.
I was.
Yeah.
I thought that would be too much of a stretch for her to actually be the interviewer and being stuck in that other dimension. But I was correct. Mm-hmm. That is what happened.
I'm still not sure I get that 100%.
So, what happened to her, or?
No, I mean, just... I don't know. And then, and the fact that Val stays, I don't love
that Val stays.
I don't love that. Because she even says, Kitty's not who she used to be, everything like that. That's not your sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like your sister, but it's not your sister. And then the reveal that the Mr. Magic back then was Jenny's dad.
Yeah.
I was like, what? There was no allusion to that whatsoever.
Well, they talk about how he's always been more affectionate toward Jenny, and that made sense, and why when everything goes to she says daddy.
Yeah.
And then you get it. But at the same time, I don't know, I liked that everything went wrong and Kitty got sucked into this other dimension because they weren't able to have the same kind of control that Val did because they did it wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's how it works with things like this, with summoning a demon, opening a portal. If you do something wrong, everything will go to
So you've done it before?
I mean, I'm not saying there's not something under my rug, but it's fine.
And another thing, in the epilogue, they say, Val looks back in the camera and you can tell she's not a prisoner or anything like that, but she is. But she is.
Yeah.
She is a prisoner.
She's just accepted her fate.
Yeah, the people got what they want. Well, I guess they didn't really get what they wanted because she's going about things differently.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But they both kind of, but they also, they got the show back still.
Yeah, right? That's what I'm saying.
So
Yeah.
in many ways, because I was thinking about it too, so she assumes the mantle. Only this, so she is in prison. Only this time she has control of her prison. Like the other ones didn't really.
Yeah.
And the town, I'm assuming, will still prosper because.
No, actually.
No, yeah,
But
they're
aren't
all
there-
out of business.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
because
said, like,
I
it's all
thought.
bankrupt
right.
and abandoned now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the kids that get brought on the show.
So there's
then,
no new kids being brought in.
She closed all the
Oh,
doors.
sorry, it's
all
just
the-
her and.
Yeah, it's the kids that have been eaten up by the show.
That's
Yeah.
even more depressing. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
well,
no,
I guess
it's
they
really
couldn't go
depressing.
anywhere. But.
I just wasn't there. I wish there was a better way, like, than Val just staying and continuing it. Like, couldn't we give them like final rest?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that she's giving them new life.
I'm mixed on it because in some ways I like the idea of just like this primal force, this hum being like it's going to be a force of nature. Like it's just
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
there.
just
Yeah.
going to.
And like
exist.
I did.
And they're doing the best.
One detail I liked was the idea of just like, yeah, this has always been there, and like radios just kind of ended up picking up the signal,
Yeah.
or like NT.
I
Yeah.
do.
and,
Yeah, I
like,
do
yeah.
like that. There
Yeah,
is.
like the bit about the kid like tuning the channel.
Yeah.
like,
In between, yeah.
like.
One of the things. Sorry.
No.
But in other ways, I'm like, damn, like, is this fully breaking the cycle? I
Yeah.
guess it's to bring in Game of Thrones. You know, it's stopping the wheel. It's not smashing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes
and
sense.
I guess what it's doing, she's not. Val as Mr. Magic is not preaching
All of those awful
their
things.
values.
Yeah.
She's preaching like.
I did like one of my favorite lines in the book was when she's talking about, well, if you can't destroy the minor deity, become it.
Yeah.
And yeah, in theory, I like it, but in reality, it's just kind of there.
Yeah.
Because you're right, it's not Kitty anymore. Has been fed on for 30 years. And she's just tired, and I just wanted her to rest.
Yeah.
So,
I liked the line when they're at the gala and they meet the mayor, and the mayor says, "Angels were everywhere if you knew how to recognize them, if you knew how to make a deal." So I liked that line when he's talking about the town of Bliss and how it became so successful. So he doesn't flat out say, "Yeah, we saw this entity and we made a deal," so
Yeah.
to speak. He's not, that's not the word I'm looking for, but he's sort of.
It's a roundabout way of telling.
No, there's like basically how it's something that's not pure and innocent, but the language he's using it for, like equating a entity that feeds off of children with an angel. So it sort of shows how warped their perspective is, because you learn that they've been feeding this entity children for years, But I just like that language, and that's how when it finally clicked, yeah, they made a deal. They're prosperous because they made at one point a deal with this entity, and they were more than willing to sacrifice children in order to sort of maintain their
paradise.
prosperity. And Yeah.
I hate to just be like, this reminds me of, but that description really got me thinking of this in relation to Midnight Mass. Which I know a lot of you guys did an episode on. Lisa, you were not on the show yet.
Yeah.
I don't think I was on the show yet either.
Yeah.
But yeah, the sort of that also has like the religious angle and the idea of just like, you know, like mistaking something for an angel and making bargains you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like I really like that aspect too.
Yeah. Because like Midnight Mass is a great example of that too, and it's a beautiful show. If you guys haven't watched it yet, it's an amazing show. I think it's one of my favorite of the ones he created. But yeah, like I just liked it. Like I said, I love that line. Angels were everywhere if you only knew how to recognize them. Because although angels in the Bible are not how people technically view angels, because
they're terrifying.
Because angels are instruments of war for God in many ways, you know, like they bring about destruction and whatever. And it reminds me of Supernatural. Yes, I'm going to bring in Supernatural, but there's a line.
I was going to ask if there were any Buffy episodes you could tie this to, like because I know the author's a big Buffy head.
Oh,
I don't know about Buffy, but I was trying to think of a Supernatural episode that you could.
Scooby-Doo episode?
There are entities. We were talking about that, right? It was you that I was talking about the town where they feed.
Yeah, like the tree. What I was thinking of in season 4, spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched, although it's a few years old already, there's an angel character that's introduced, Castiel, and Dean is talking to Castiel, and he says, you know, I thought angels were supposed to help people, you know, wear your Birkenstocks, walk on fluffy clouds. And Castiel says, read your Bible again, we're warriors. So it's... and when you meet the angels, they are very much contrary to what you would perceive. Most of them have no regard for people. We're like monkeys without fur, you know.
Dean every time that I read about an angel, Dean's voice is in my head. Yes. Because he's like, angels are...
Yeah,
that he says it over and over and over.
I mean, you could watch. You could. That just then reminds me of Dogma.
I've never.
No one's seen Dogma. It's a really funny movie. It's a
Oh.
Silent Bob movie that makes fun of.
It's not on any streaming service.
No, it's not.
Yeah, because Harvey Weinstein personally owns the rights. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have the DVD if you ever want to borrow it.
But it's like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are these angels, and they're on Earth, and it's like they don't help people. It's complete and utter massacres.
Yeah, that sounds about
Left,
right.
right, and centered.
But that Supernatural in general, I think, really matches the vibes of this.
Yeah.
Simona, you said a few years ago. That episode aired 16 years ago.
Yeah.
I was being... So if you haven't seen it by this point, another Supernatural example, which I find is funny.
I want to do a Supernatural, we should watch a few episodes.
I think it would be cool. I mean, the show goes downhill, but that's a whole other story. But there's an episode where there's this deity who's played by Paris Hilton.
Yes.
She's the deity. Who becomes whoever you admire to feed on you. It's just so funny.
I've seen a few. Those guys, I can't do it. I can't do their performances.
The show goes so off the rails, but in such a good way sometimes. But I really liked that line. I also liked, it's another gala moment where Jenny's mom comes in and she just starts attacking. Not the attack, the line where it said like, no one else had made a move toward them. No one has a phone out to call the cops or even film. They're all watching. Because I was trying to picture the scene in my head of just all these crazy looking rich people just like frozen, just watching and almost getting as much energy from the violence.
Well, they're not frozen. They're enjoying what they're watching.
Yeah, but it was almost like if you had to see it on the screen, just everyone, like there's another film where there's so many, I'm sure, but where there's like that freaking of just people just frozen or just stopped watching something happen, and like there's so many films that do it. But that's what was playing in my mind. It's just like a bunch of rich people just like holding their drinks and just like, oh, this is entertaining, and like not doing anything to help out. Yeah, there were a lot of, she did Freaky very well. There were a lot of Freaky, especially the mayor is so off-putting.
Who were we pictured for the mayor? Let's get our castings out there.
I think yours is spot on. Just taller.
Mine was Ray Wise, Laura's dad from Twin Peaks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that would.
Any sinister old rich guy, that's who I'm imagining in books.
Oh.
He's so handsy, the mayor, and I hate it.
Yeah. That is a good pick.
The kiss on her forehead, though?
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah.
Ick.
But yeah, considering how patronizing he is,
Yeah.
and I love the scene where like Jenny's husband is criticizing her dress, and Val just like, yeah, we look fabulous, and then just like,
Oh, I love like Javi and Marcus are ready to go.
yeah, like boobies, like the fact that he uses like if anyone uses boobies, like
Could you please let me know what the grammatically correct way to do that is? I'm not sure.
So I love that friendship moment and how like Jenny says, yeah, I look good, and deal with it, and they just move on or whatever, because there's so many women and men that know that experience where the partner just criticizes them, they can do nothing right, and I like Jenny eventually say, yeah, fine, bye-bye, and like just enjoys the party. So I liked that moment, and all the friends are behind her, which I know
he's also a horrible, horrible husband.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
Where I do love that line where he comes up and he's like, I've been babysitting, and Val's like, are they not your kids?
But that's a very real thing, like, and I know that I feel bad too, because like when you watch those videos of fathers fathering, and it's like, woo, it's like concept, but it's like, oh my god, the father's being a father, and then I think about it, but that's what he's supposed to do, for the most part. But the fact that it's almost like when a man does it, like if a man watches his kids, it's almost like he's going above and beyond what he should be doing.
Why should he be rewarded for doing the bare minimum?
Right. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, and I'm guilty of it too. It's like, oh, and I'm like, but that's what he should be doing. So yeah, so the whole babysitting line, it's like, you're watching your kids. That's what you should be doing,
Yeah.
So, but I was so happy in that moment, and they all came together, and like, because I know we've spoken about how can they still have those bonds if they haven't seen each other.
Well, my problem was they were so young.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of a K-drama, and yes, I'm bringing up, don't give me that look. Because there's a trope where if you met as children, you'll remain in love, like, even as adults. Like, a lot of K-dramas where, like, they were children, disappeared, 27 years later, they're reunited, and the love is just as strong, kind of a thing. Kind of reminded me of a K-drama. Because there are a lot that do that, but it's essentially that trope where your childhood sweetheart is the one you end up with. Like, a lot of K-dramas do it, and like there's a long period of separation, but it's almost as if no time has passed.
But did they know each other for more than like a year?
Sometimes. Or sometimes it's just that meeting that one time, and soulmates, and...
Yeah, I guess it happens.
I can't wrap my head around the fact that they were like 8 to 10 years old, and then
Yeah, maybe they were a little older. Like,
No, she was 8.
No, maybe I'm just saying maybe if they were a little older.
Oh, okay.
Then
Like,
I
if, like
get
maybe
it.
if she was 12.
Yeah.
And like they were like.
Yeah, I don't think 8-year-olds form romantic connections.
No.
I don't know.
No, or
I
this,
feel like
like,
that's
deep of a connection.
It's like a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Like I don't. Then I'd be a little more like, okay.
Right, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're a K-drama.
I couldn't. That was like an underlying problem I had for the entire book. Is I couldn't buy that you're willing to lay your life on the line for someone you knew at 8, who you haven't seen in a long time. And I understand, like, it's completely. That's not the point. They were stuck in like a other dimension where they couldn't sleep and they spent all their time together. But I don't remember a lot from when I was 8.
Yeah.
So
He tried to trick her.
yeah.
He tried to get her to go into the demon world.
It's like, yeah, I don't know.
And I kind of wish, like, maybe it was mentioned. It's been a while, because remember when Val meets her mom and her and the mom says, "You were troublesome. The show helped you." Was that element of the story dropped? I feel like that wasn't or it wasn't dropped.
No,
Like
'cause
basically why she was so troublesome
Oh,
think
and
she
why
was
they put her in the show.
She was just a
just a
stubborn
defiant-
girl.
yeah.
Yeah, they,
Okay,
just,
like,
they
I-
mentioned a lot that she was stubborn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. For
Stubborn,
some reason, I thought there
defiant.
would be it would be more than. But okay, fine. Never mind. All right. Because
No, she was just a normal 8-year-old girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
She was a pain in the ass, and they didn't want to deal with her.
Right.
Yeah, Val does address it when she's like, our mother didn't want daughters, she wanted dolls.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's been a while since. Okay. All right.
And that
Yeah.
line really like was like,
Well, there's another
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
I forgot who wrote it, but it's like and it takes place in like this building, and most of the characters are African American. I cannot remember who the author is, but one of the characters has children because she loves the baby stage. But once they get older, she doesn't want anything to do with it, so she keeps having kids so she can have them as like enjoy the baby stage. But she essentially neglects them once they become toddlers and they get even older. And like this one woman comments how she was in love with them being babies, like she loves their smell, but like once they get older, like she's lost it. She's their mom, and essentially that's what it kind of reminded of, like how she just wanted doll. Like that character simply just wants them as a baby.
Well, just because you're a mom doesn't mean
Yeah.
you are a mom. Like,
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what that reminded me, and I can't remember who the author is, but one of the characters.
Dostoevsky.
No.
No.
But like one of the characters is like that. She enjoys them in the baby stage and then loses interest once they get older.
So, I'm clicking around on Kiersten White's website. There's a graphic novel version coming soon.
Yeah?
Interesting.
Be interested to see what the art looks like.
Yeah.
I want to see the house.
Yeah.
Now I'll finally be able to see how the house is.
Well, that's one of the things I do like about her 2 adult books. I love the covers. Like, I think the cover art is chosen very, very well. It's disturbing, but very pretty and grabs your eye.
I'll admit, like one of the reasons why I wanted, because when I first saw the cover, I was like, ooh, and then I read the summary, it's like, oh, this sounds interesting.
For you young people, those are antenna on top of the television.
Well, I liked, I liked the concept. I liked a lot of how we got there, but I do wish her writing was a little less explanatory and a little less clunky.
Oh, it was very clunky.
And I need the ending to be messy. Like I needed a mess.
I think it was leading in that direction, and it was leading in that direction in a good way. And then, I think...
There's no way it ends pretty. Like, you've built this entire story, and all of these other elements are coming into it, and you're dealing with all of this. There's no way it's going to end happy, pretty for everyone.
No.
And it does.
And I would have been happier with a messy happy ending.
Well, it should have been messy.
Yeah. Where it could have been happy for a few characters and then messy for other characters. And I didn't get that at the end, and it kind of like it fell really flat to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, generally, it was fine. It was, I wasn't crazy about the ending.
Yeah.
But,
I liked it overall. Yeah, I tend to be weird with endings. I tend to be pretty forgiving of them, even if I don't like them, because I'm like, well, I enjoyed the ride, which is contrary to how most people view endings. So, but yeah, I am glad I read it, but yeah, there are things where I'm like, if you just went that little extra mile, if you left things a little messy, a little less explained, this would be baller.
Yeah.
It seems like her next book is a Dracula thing called Lucy Undying.
Yes, it's stunning cover.
Yeah, no, very, very
Absolutely
pretty cover.
Beautiful.
Is it adult or?
It's an adult novel. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, does Lucy
It says a vampire escapes the thrall of Dracula and embarks on her own search for self-discovery and true love in this epic and seductive gothic fantasy.
It is about Lucy.
I felt so bad for Lucy.
Yeah. I was hesitant to read it, honestly, because I did not care for her YA stuff. Because that was a problem I had with her YA stuff, is you have the raw materials here. The execution's just not there. Like, I really loved her world building in Slayer, her Buffy book, but the characters themselves felt very flat and hollow. And I think she has the talent to do that correctly.
Yeah, I'm rooting for her.
I think maybe she needs a better editor.
Yeah.
Someone to help be like, hey, you don't need to explain this. We got it. You're doing great. Your metaphor's stunning.
Yeah.
Don't explain it. People will get it.
Yeah.
Trust them to be smart enough to get it.
Yeah.
Because I think she's talented.
Overall though, with the Slayer book, because I haven't read it, would you say
read
over?
it.
Okay. All right, I won't read it.
No. Yeah. No.
Okay.
You'll be far too disappointed.
I might give Lucy Undying a shot, though. Because The cover is beautiful enough.
Does it
that I'd
say
like
when
to
the
own it.
book's going to be released?
It looks like
Very
September 10th.
soon,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, about a month. Probably, no, it will be out by the time this episode goes up, probably by a
Yes.
few months, but
Yeah.
hey.
The library
You
will
get a
have
little
it.
peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Yeah. The library will have it because I will be purchasing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like an interesting book. I'd like to read that.
Yeah.
Because Lucy as a character, like, because I did read the original novel. I had a hard time with it because the style of writing is not my thing. But and then watching the film with Keanu Reeves and
Gary Oldman carried
Gary-
that entire
yeah.
movie.
I love Gary Oldman. Like yes, he kills people, but it's like I am rooting for their romance to like survive. But I just like the whole aesthetic. But the whole thing that happens with Lucy, I was like, oh, you deserve
Lucy's
better.
character's always tragic.
Yeah, I felt so bad because she was punished for no other reason than she's a little bit more honest with her sexuality. But I guess that's a no-no.
Well, in
So
Victorian
it's like-
England, it was all
yeah,
like,
so that's
what
why
is-
she's punished, and
yeah,
I'm like, that's
yeah.
not fair. But
Yeah.
I would love to read and see how she writes the character. So, do we want to what do we want to rate this? What did we rate it last time?
We didn't.
We didn't rate
So
it.
we weren't finished.
Oh, I thought maybe the first
have
half
to
we
rate
had
it
rated
out
it.
of something fun though.
Dark Dimensions.
I don't know. I'll give her like the fact that I really enjoyed the characters. I liked learning, not all of them, but I liked learning about them.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious if she was basing the show off of an actual show. I mean, obviously not that there's anything as disturbing, but like if for instance, like she had a favorite show as a child, and it's like the twisted version of that show. Because I am thinking of Mr. Rogers, how like he always had a moral, but Mr. Rogers wasn't. Like if she had a story,
I don't
like
think there's really any because the
Anything
show's
that's
completely unstructured.
Mhm.
Like it's
Yeah.
kind of nuts. So like I feel like there's
That's
not.
what made it so unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'll hit this with a 3.5 Dark Dimensions. Overall, I'm glad I read it. So yeah, and like Kiersten White, I'm rooting for her. You know,
Yeah.
I think she's got the
Yeah.
raw materials,
Yeah.
and I think she can really come through with something.
She has the ideas, and that's more than half the battle.
Yeah.
And the talent, you see
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
talent. It's just it like
She needs
she
a
doesn't
better
have enough
editor.
trust in herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She needs a better editor who will help her trust herself more. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's-
I think I'd also give it 3.5 because overall I loved the writing. Like the ending was disappointing, but like everyone has said, she has the talent, she has the skill. So 3.5. I still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would throw 3.5 out there also.
I also threw a 3.5.
Giving it a 3. I really disliked the ending. And I didn't love all of the characters, and not in like an I really enjoy this character because I don't like them way. It was more, I felt like you could leave Isaac out of the book and it would be fine.
Yeah, actually, it's funny you say that because like I was kind of thinking, like they were making fun of Jenny for being like the person that was just there. Mm-hmm. I was like, it's kind of Isaac.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just there and like he's not really doing anything. Like, oh, he finds Val, but that wasn't really ever, except for the end. There was that little part where he finds her, and then I was like, felt shortchanged there. I don't know.
Yeah, Javi and Marcus stole the show for me. Javi was my favorite. I loved everything about him. I loved how
Javi was definitely my favorite.
they were like the most important two characters at the end too, where they're keeping everyone distracted while she can save. the day.
I just remembered my least favorite thing.
Yeah.
Occasionally, the curses would be like that very millennial, like, oh, waffle type stuff. And I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Oh.
I'm trying to think of like my least favorite thing. Isaac's my least favorite thing though. Like I just needed him to go away permanently, never come back, just stay over there in a corner and let everyone else do things. Because I didn't care. I cared about Javi and Marcus, and even Jenny.
I like Jenny. I thought she was pretty compelling.
I liked.
Yeah.
Well, I love her character growth throughout the book.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when in the scene where I guess Val is rewatching the episode, Jenny moves the cape and tries to find her dad. My heart broke for her in that instance, and my mind.
Did we know it was her dad at that point?
Well, she said she called Mr. Magic Daddy. And that gave it away. But my heart broke for her, and that kind of just changed my opinion of Jenny as the character. So.
Well, that's like I said. I like Jenny.
Yeah.
I like Jenny.
Everything. Yeah, Val was fine. She's fine.
Yeah.
Isaac needs to go away.
So you wouldn't have mind if he remained in the other dimension?
God, no.
No, I don't want him teaching kids.
No, he doesn't have to be there. He can just feed the entity.
Yeah.
Oh.
But, okay, so I do have a few book recommendations just based on, like, vibes and plot. So...
That's why you're the head of reader services.
Thank you. I do love Reader's Advisory. It is my favorite part of my job. So, Andrew Joseph White, who is a lovely person, great person, human being, was a Stonewall Award nominee last year. This is his book about a cult and this 16-year-old trans boy who escapes the cult after they essentially destroy the world, and then trying to find a safe place to be. It's really good, similar culty vibes, spooky. It's a horror book, so be prepared for that, but cover art's great.
So is it like a dystopian?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The Vegetarian I have not because it has anything to do with the plot for this. It's a book that was translated from Korean. It's just deeply disturbing and makes you so viscerally uncomfortable.
Hungry? Oh.
If you read this and you're hungry, maybe don't tell me. Kiersten White's other book, Hide, is about a serial killer game of hide and seek at like an abandoned amusement park. And that sounds great.
Yeah.
And I'm
Sounds
definitely
scary.
going to give it a shot after reading this because I do think she's talented and I like what she's working with.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stop talking about meddling kids last time because it's grown-up Scooby-Doo, but they're all traumatized and it's darkly comedic. And also, again, the cover art and the aesthetic for it is great. And definitely, like, they could have used a support group in this book. So literally anything by Grady Hendrix, though, is going to make you laugh, but also it's going to be, like, visceral. You're going to have a visceral reaction to reading his writing. Yeah. And we can link all the titles. Comments below.
All right.
All right. Simone, you want to take us out?
Sure. So thank you so much for joining us for part 1 of our book discussion series. If you read the book, we'd love to know your thoughts. As always, like, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.